Hello, beloved dancers. Greetings and welcome again. Thanks to everybody for all the beautiful comments from last time's video. And I trust that you've been finding some unique and interesting ways to play with your body in your environment, and that you've been finding dances in everyday things. Meanwhile, I invite you, if you can, while you're watching this, hopefully you can, to take a few deep breaths. And if you want to, you can even pause this video for a second here and really feel yourself in your body. Maybe make a couple movements. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that now. Thanks again for this beautiful, amazing day. Gorgeous sky, beautiful sun, and the temperate weather at this time in southeastern Arizona is just so delightful. So I wanted to send out another video today in order to answer some questions and concerns that people have been expressing. I thought that would be of benefit to everyone, not just those who express them. And I also wanted to clear up some, sometimes I think, disastrous misconceptions about what contact improv is, and also to clarify what this training is really going to be like, this series that we're about to enter into. So let me start with a number one most obvious logistical question. People have been asking me, can I come and take one class? Can I come and try it out and see if it works for me? I'm saying no to that right now because we have such an amazing group of people already gathered who want to be there for all 4 weeks, and my intention from the very beginning was to have this be a community experience that feels really safe for everybody. I want to build a space that feels safe and coherent. So I'm actually not at this point allowing people to come in and try it out. I want us to come in knowing that we're safe, that we're connected, that we're solid. So there are a few spaces left, and if those end up for some reason not selling out, I can't imagine that they would, then I'll let people know on the website maybe at the last minute if there's the opportunity to come in. But ultimately I want to create a safe space so that we're all committed. The second thing I've heard is, actually a few times, see this beautiful card that we made in this picture here. I've heard people say, oh my goodness, I don't think I can do what she's doing in that picture. So there's some consideration and concern about people's physical limitations and whether they feel like they have the bendy body that can do these kind of things that they may have seen contact improv people doing. I want to tell you that that is not an issue, because this is a ground floor class, and the emphasis is not so much on learning tricks at all. It's not even really on learning a particular dance form. This is really about cultivating somatic awareness, learning to internalize our awareness and become more capable of interacting with our environment and be very responsive and skillful and efficient and easeful and safe in the way that we interact with our environment and other people. So it's really about learning this deeper level of awareness of the body and of our environment. It's about learning and working with basic principles and building blocks. So these building blocks and these principles can be applied in any dance at any phase of your life to help you become more creative with how you're moving. It's not about learning tricks. Okay, so that's another thing. Some people have this concern. They don't necessarily want to learn a dance form called contact improv. So I want to share with you just a tiny bit about my history of how I learned it. I began studying contact improv at the University of Rochester Program of Movement and Dance. Our teacher, Judith Hook, was quite a visionary, an amazing woman. And I ended up apprenticing her and eventually taking on her class after a few years of apprenticeship with her. What I found with Judith is that her background was based in somatics. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, as I spoke of in the last video, there was a lot of experimentation going on in the realm of dance, and one of the avenues that developed was somatics. Her particular discipline that she was focused on was called ideokinesis. And so what that does, in ideokinesis, what you're doing is you're using imagery to repattern the central nervous system and therefore repattern movement. And so a lot of our training was around internalizing our awareness, becoming aware of our physioperceptive space in 360 degrees of spherical space around us, learning to awaken the sense of awareness and responsiveness within every single cell of our body, and then taking that into interaction with the environment and with other people through really simple exercises. Not learning a lot of tricks, but really building a foundation of awareness and connection. So in this class, we're not going to be doing a lot of tricks. You don't even really have to want to learn Contact Improv to take this class. In fact, what kind of person do you need to be? Well, let me just say, my intention in teaching this class is not about teaching the form as much as it is about helping people develop skills for how to connect to their own dance and with other people in their dance on the dance floor and also off the dance floor. So let me say that again. My main intention is not about teaching a form. So you don't have to want to learn this form to want to take this class. You can be one of those many people who's approached me in this Tucson community and in other communities around the world where I have taught and danced, where people say, I don't really know how to reach out and touch someone. I don't know how to contact someone in the dance. And it doesn't even have to be physical. I don't even know if I should approach them. This class is about building skills. It's about building a sense of awareness so that we can know better and sense better how to connect with another person. It's also about building skills so that when we do come into contact with another person, that we feel safe in that contact. Yeah? So my main intention here is creating safety, creating a more authentic and a more nourishing dance experience where people feel confident in connecting with one another. Now, there's a second piece to this which takes the dance off the dance floor. Many of us have noticed that, you dance with these people and you feel so connected in the moment and you leave the dance floor and you don't even really realize you don't really know that person. Well, Contact Improv training in the way that I was taught and the way that I'm going to teach it has to do with meeting each other as human beings. It has to do with sharing those vulnerabilities and insecurities. It has to do with learning how to express what our needs are, what our boundaries are, and learning how to hear other people's. So there's another concern that has arisen, which is, will this make our dance floor unsafe to have people doing contact around us? And I would say that actually it's the exact opposite. That the dance floor becomes more safe the more consciousness and mindfulness people are bringing to the dance floor. The fact is, we are human beings. We are social creatures. We have a desire to connect. Am I right? I can't tell you how many people have approached me and expressed these issues about not knowing how and when and what ways to connect. That's the foundation of my impulse and my impetus to lead this class, is to help solve that problem. The dance floor becomes more safe when we have very specific ways, when we have training and specific ways of how to connect, of how to listen. When that training is not there, when we haven't taken the time to study those dynamics of the space where two people come together, and in contact we do study those dynamics. We study them, we practice being aware of that space of connection. And if we don't have skills of how to actually connect through our physical body, then that can lead to emotional and physical lack of safety. However, when we study these dynamics, we're cultivating mindfulness. We're cultivating the ability to listen, and we're cultivating the ability to connect in a way that's safe. So in fact, what I would say is that the more people that we have on the dance floor who have this kind of training and this kind of skill set, the more safe and fulfilling of a dance floor we will have. Because this is not just about, and it's actually not about, flinging people about. It's about learning to slow down enough to listen to one another and to co-create a dance together. Again, the fact is, we have these impulses and these desires to connect within us. It's innate in our humanness. And this class provides the opportunity for us to develop that, to steward that impulse so that our dance becomes confident, collaborative, connected. This doesn't mean that we're going to be connecting all the time. That is actually farthest from the truth. I will tell you, I'm just like you, many of you. I feel unsafe and vulnerable when people try to come into my space in ways that I don't want, in ways that I'm not welcoming. So what we're actually doing here is cultivating the ability to listen to one another, to know better when to enter and when to hold back. So let me share with you a quote to close this up. On my flyer here, I said Contact Improvisation Ground Floor, a 4-week series for beginners and those with beginner's mind. I said that as sort of a joke because I wanted people who already practice contact to realize that they could come back into this class and enjoy it, with fresh eyes and with a new sense of their own connection to the dance. So I thought I would read a quote from Shunryu Suzuki's book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, since that's what I was referencing. When you listen to someone, you should give up all your preconceived ideas and your subjective opinions. You should just listen to him. Just observe what his way is. We put very little emphasis on right and wrong or good and bad. We just see things as they are with him and accept them. This is how we communicate with each other. Usually when you listen to some statement, you hear it as a kind of echo of yourself. You're actually listening to your own opinion. If it agrees with your opinion, you may accept it. But if it does not, you will reject it, or you may not even really hear it. So I use this quote because I really do feel that contact improvisation, when it's taught in its most essential form, which ultimately did emerge from its roots in Zen, in Aikido, in these awareness practices, that when we're practicing it in its really essential way, we're learning to listen to each other. We're creating a space where we can express ourselves as we are. It's not something that's happening a lot in the world. And so for those who have fears that this is going to be, all of a sudden we're going to have all this contact happening and people are going to be sweeping me up and making me do all these things, it's the exact opposite of that. This is a class about learning to listen without your subjective input. It's about learning to have someone else listen, allow someone else to listen to you, so that when you dance, when you meet in that dance, that moment itself creates the dance. It's not about ideas, it's not about moves, it's not about tricks. It's about being connected, open and listening. And that mutual listening allows something to emerge that is magic. And so there's my invitation. There's my reassurance to those who may have been on the fence, or even to those who are enrolled who might be a little nervous. You don't have to do bendy back bends. You don't have to do acrobatics. You don't have to feel unsafe because you're entering a safe space where we're going to be cultivating more awareness, more listening. And also to those who are on the Friday and Sunday dance floors who might have been apprehensive or worried. The truth is, when that impulse of human connection comes out, and it hasn't been trained, you have every right to be nervous, you have every right to be apprehensive. Because when that human impulse to connect comes out, and it hasn't been cultivated, it can come out sideways, in weird ways, in awkward ways, in unsafe ways. And that's why that's why I'm offering this class and why I feel it's so valuable. Because we're going to be training that impulse. It's there in every one of us. So you don't have to feel like your dance floor is all of a sudden going to become an unsafe place to be. In fact, if we do this right, which I believe we will, because I see the quality of connection and potential in this dance community, if we do this right, and I believe we will, because I do see, I've danced in many dance communities and taught in many dance communities, I see something special here in these people, that through a little bit of training, a little bit of practice, a little bit of insight, this will increase the safety and increase the joy on our dance floor. So there are a few more spaces left. If you haven't registered yet, please click the link down below. We start on Monday, February 13th, which is just under a week from now. And you are welcome to come and join us if you haven't already enrolled. And for those who are enrolled, do you know how excited I am? I am so excited. See you soon on the dance floor. Take good care of yourself. Breathe. Move your body. Dance with life. Dance with each other. Be safe. Be mindful. Be love. See you soon.